how you bring your energy to children and encourage them to be comfortable on the stage and, portray their part of the drama.
I think it's just so important to get them out of thinking that being an actor, it's what I do with anybody that I work with. I'm looking for a natural, true person, and just be who you are, learn the choreography and their body movements, choreography, I feel about this, choreography is not so much about the 5, 6, 7, 8, because I like different physicalities inside of choreography. And I just browbeat it into their heads and their feet. And I laugh with them and I do it with them and get them excited as much as I can. And then, we go in. And so it's always fun. I always love doing that scene in Carmen with the kids. Yeah.
And, when you did the transition from being a performer into directing, how much of what you had done and learned as a performer really made its way into your directing and your approach as to how you go to singers and the whole beast that is opera?
The whole beast, which it is in a way, honestly, and I think you know this story. It was an accident that I directed my first show. God rest his soul, Mark Flint just called me out of the blue and asked me to direct Man of La Mancha. And I was taken back by that. And he's, what's that, Jerry?
Was that in a production in which you were also going to sing and perform as well?
He got through the whole asking me to direct it scenario. And then he said, oh, by the way, I would like you to do Sancho as well. And I went, no. So my first professional show, I did Sancho. I directed it. Yes, I built my own props.
And choreographed it.
And choreographed it. And, and so, it really did change my life. It changed my life. But for me, going back to your question, everything that I learned as a performer, as an actor, as a storyteller, I just transferred to my directing. I didn't, it all didn't come from a book, Jerry, so I don't sit here and have a exact thing. I've developed my craft, as I call it, over the years. But truly, my example that I would use would be my job when I was performing, which I was grateful. I had a lovely, doing that. And I consider myself the ultimate sidekick. And so my job was always to make somebody else look better than I was, or give everything to those other characters. And listening, I listened more than I sang as a character tenor. In that same philosophy, to me, just transferred into everybody on stage. So that whole palette that I wanted to start painting, which falls into the place of working with the ensemble. I mean, they're part of it too. They have to listen and respond. And, so again, I'm always looking for that balance of, I call it wax on, wax off, a Karate Kid. So I want the energy to go from one person to the other without me having to find where the heck the action is. So I always tell my cast, I said, look, I'm an audience member. Don't make me work. I want to enjoy the show. Don't make me figure out where everybody is.
Well, especially now, we're so used to a film director directing our eyes. We see what the director wants us to see.
Right.
And now as a stage director, you almost have to be, you need to know, this is where I want your eye to be. If it doesn't happen to be there, you'll get something nice over here as well.
Right.
Here. Yeah.
Well, I always go back to telling stories about doing Turandot, or if I sat and saw a Turandot, which I was usually in it, so I didn't watch it, but I could only imagine. There's 5,000 people on stage, especially in Act 2, which I have plenty of stories about that. My In Questa Regia stories, right?
No. Have you sung the aria?
It's a little high for me, but I'll tell this part first. But again, in Act 2, there's 5,000 people on stage, and the reality is that it's in this kind of very structured, scene where it's everybody's together and nobody's really moving very much, And for me, if I don't know the story, I'm trying to follow who's singing if nobody's moving. if there's no physical breath, no choice as an actor. So that's not as interesting. I'm trying to figure out where everybody's at. That's really tough for me. My favorite story about the In Questa Regia was, in no offense, Opera World, I always hated that aria because all I could remember and never forget was all the pongs I did in Turandot, which I did a ton, is that we had just finished running around doing ping pong and pongs opening of Act 2, right? And usually I was doing somersaults and whatever, tightrope and everything. And then we run off stage really fast, and they put some huge coat robe on us, and then they put some new hat on us, and we come out, and then we stand there for the rest of the scene. And as soon as I get into my position, I'd hear In Questa, and the sweat would then start rolling down the, and we started sweating. And I'm going, and you're there for, it was just one of those things. And I'm going, sweat's dripping off my nose and my eyes, and it's starting to sting. So every time I hear that aria now, all I can remember all those times.
You just start sweating. You start sweating?
Not anymore. No.
Now, see, you would have liked the Sarah Caldwell production because I did that with her in Boston, and she had 3 supers in ping pong pong costumes that went across the stage, echo ping, echo pang, echo pong, and they went off stage because I think it was the Pang was singing the Emperor Altum.
Un juramento. I can do that. I can come out of retirement now.
And see, so he had to do a quick change into Altum. So if you would have been the other one, you got to just walk away. You were done. Yeah.
I guess this is fair game. Honestly, I was doing it with John Holmes. I did it with John multiple times, but I think the last time I did it with John, I knew his staging, and we brought us in the front and we did our thing. And I looked at John one day and I said, "Hey, John, I think Ping Pong and Pong, I think they got to get the food ready for this afterwards. So I think we should just go in and just go right back off." And John laughed at me. He goes, "Whatever, okay." And so we actually got out of the whole scene. One time in my entire career, we didn't have to stand there. Oh my God, John! If you hear this, I shouldn't have told anybody.
But that was also like with Sarah, because the guy that sang Ping, also Jimmy Renson, was singing the Mandarin.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like it was his old like La Scala tour doublings. When La Scala would go on tour and the doublings would start.
I just think it's hysterical to talk about the specific set. I shouldn't name it. The one with the big pearl that we.
Oh yeah, the Bliss.
It's Bliss's production.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be hysterical to get how many responses from everybody in the industry who has stood on that stage and seen that pearl. It was amazing. So. Anyway.
Well, I know that. Hey, Adelmo is here. Adelmo Guidarelli.
Oh, Adelmo, hey, brother.
Good to see you.
Love that guy.
And I believe that the Turandot, the women that sing Turandot, they all know each other, and they warn each other about that pearl.
Oh,
give each other.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but the pearl had its own life.
Yeah,
and there's lots of rumors about why it had that odor, and it's that whole set's got its own life.
Right. Indeed. But I want to talk. From the singing into the directing, it is one thing,
right?
But then the whole pedagogy, which at Brevard,
right.
And then taking that program on, and you were, of course, an alumni of that program, and you've always said that it was very influential on you.
It's the first number I ever did
as a young man.
Mm-hmm.
But then, because now you're from St. Louis, right?
I was raised in St. Louis, yes.
Yeah. But then you ended up in Boston to do opera study.
Well, I got my
Right.
master's at NEC. I did. Yeah. So
Right.
I ended up there via St. Louis Conservatory Music for 1 year with Ed Zambara.
Right.
And then he packed us all in and said, we're all moving to Boston. So, that's how I ended up at NEC, which then John Moriarty, that changed. And then it changed my life after that. I mean, I did 7 seasons or 8 summers at Central City over the next years. I mean,
Oh my God.
the progression of how things snowball in this industry have been amazing.
And now, and where, and your time as a student at Brevard, is that while you're still in school?
Undergrad. That was undergrad. I came to Brevard as a baby.
And
I mean, I had never even seen an opera or been in one. So when I walked into Brevard in 1984, that was the first experience I had, and it kind of just changed my world. And so from there on, but I interrupted your sentence structure with educated thing. There's no comma. There's no drama without the comma. Oh,
there's people saying hello to you, dear.
Doris, Brittany, and Sandra Hormozy, my dear friend. They love. It's good to see you.
Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being here. Right. I was just going to say about that experience, that you had at Brevard as a young man, and that sort of formative thing that happens to you. And I think we all sort of have that. Like, I'm a Chautauqua kid.
Right.
That was my transformative moment. But then for you to go back and then to create this program as it is today. And how many years now? Because I was lucky I did the first 4 with you. But then, I had to bow out.
Well, I know. This last summer, the asterisk summer, as we call everything now, that would have been 13 for me. So
wow.
And again, I go back into all the people in my life, and honestly, I don't know if you know this or not. I think I probably told you, but so I had just really started directing. I just went to the other side of the table when David Gately took this program over. And David was honestly on the phone with Dame Dot, with Dottie Danner. And David said, oh my God, I'm looking for someone to come in as not necessarily an assistant director, but an assistant to what I try to do, and Dottie goes, oh, Dean is just starting to direct. And David just called me and said, come here. So, my first 5 summers I was here, and that's when I started the /educator aspect of this, which I'd never done before. And honestly, would never have thought that would become a part of my my wheelhouse. But that has certainly changed, and it is probably the most important thing in my life as far as being an educator.
Is it the sort of thing that when you started doing it, you almost felt like you had come home? That it was so comfortable and so natural?
Well, there was obviously growing pain. There's growing pains in everything when you start,
Yeah.
But it felt pretty natural to me, and it was also really, again, I didn't start directing because I was done singing. It just kind of fell in my lap, and then it felt like an addition to everything I had done before, and it felt like I was adding to, just the ability to. And also give back was a huge part of it, which is even bigger now, the aspect of giving back. But I just love to try to inform bodies and physical work as an actor and performer the way I had done it myself. And sometimes it seemed to work. And so I just kind of went with it. Sometimes, and then
Glenn Breed has joined the room. Glenn Breed.
Glenn Breed, who I miss dearly, our anniversary is gonna probably end up being closer to the 50, because I think that we've we've done over 40 plus shows together. I'm sure he's going to type it in because he counts more than I do. And also, Brittany's here, and Brittany and I have worked together massively as well. And so it's just a joy to see all these people.
And God love them. They're sticking with us. We're all going to try to do this Carmen in January.
Yeah, I know, and it's
do what we can.
Yeah.
You spoke about Dottie Danner,
Dame Dot,
and you always speak about your indebtedness to her, and that many things are an homage to her.
Yes.
But we're going to play just a little quick 90-second bit from a show that I think is like a tribute to Dame Dot. Cody, let it go.
God, that's all Dame Dot. I mean, that is just all Dame Dot.
Here's the thing. I'm only allowed to have like 90 seconds in a clip. That's all I can have. And when I was trying to get that, and that is exactly right at 90 seconds. It only lasts for 90 seconds in that entire show. But how many hours are spent rehearsing that 90 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
But it looks so good.
But Dottie was just Dottie's keen eye and sense of everything, and her ability to just transform just something that's only 90 seconds long.
Yeah.
And God, it's just she's a genius.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to transition, but I am. But that my heart started to get fuzzy because my first Merry Widow doing Yegush was with Tom Hammonds.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And Tom.
I thought was that the picture that you posted?
Yeah, that was from that production that I did with Tom in Omaha back in the day.
Oh my God, I know.
And then we did it with him 20 plus years later.
I know.
I mean, which was crazy, but
no one can ever say the word thwarting the way he can say thwarting. I mean, anytime anybody says that, I just hear him saying it. I know I did Barbers with him. I don't think I was ever able to do a Cenerentola with him. I did a Dead Man Walking with him.
Yeah, which is kind of outside what we but that falls into the Nixon and China stuff, but
that whole other, besides being that brilliant,
absolutely
brilliant comedic, and you worry about the legacy because it was Tayo. I mean, it was the spit out of Tayo's mouth, and now what will happen to that legacy?
Yeah.
It's the funniest man alive.
But I tell you, when we were both, younger in that, I talked to Dame Dot yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
We were talking about that widow, and honestly, there were times when she just went because Tom and I got together, we had never met, and seriously, we would go off and start working. And she's going, guys, because we just felt that connection is comedic people. And, you know, those days are, I'm not going to say those days are gone, but the time to really be with someone else and work like that and take those risks are harder to find.
They're also, those are special relationships.
Yes.
You know, they don't happen all the time.
No, they don't. They don't.
You might be lucky enough to have a handful in your life.
I agree with that.
You meet them and you're just like, all right, here we are. And we've known each other forever. And,
yes.
And
exactly.
I trust you, you trust me. Yeah. I know.
And the beauty of that too is, but even in comedy, which, you know, I love, and timing and how dialogue works, that all comes from a lot from Dottie and whatever. But, you know, the ability to embrace silence, Jerry, is something that so many young singers and people are going, oh crap, I hear, if it, you know, it's an hour and a half in their head when it's only 2 beats in real time. You know, the ability to hold silence and to live through it, and how to breathe as a comedian and take that perfect take to the audience. You know, it's an art. Yeah.
But it's like the joke, you know, what makes a great comedian, you know.
Timing. Yes.
You know, and I don't know whether I ever told you that story, but I was at Chautauqua conducting A Barber of Seville, and Bill Fabry, God rest his soul, oh my God, was directing. And Jay had often invited him to direct operetta, Gilbert and Sullivan, and that sort of thing. This is his first opera. And so he was really, you know, but the thing is that it was Julia Parks and Tom Hammonds and now the tenor's name just went on my head, but they had done 2 separate City Opera tours together of Barber of Seville. So they just started speaking in that.
Go. So the director and go.
You did it in Lansing. Put that in there. Now remember that. And on the first night, Bill was like, you know, I mean, they're not listening. What should I do? I said, write down everything they do and say thank you.
Exactly.
You know, because it was a great lesson.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
that's true. I mean, I had that same kind of relationship with, you know, say Rod Nelman and Mazer and Mike Mays and Giovanni. I mean, that ability for them to take care of just the communication aspect in the rest was huge. So, yeah. Well, anyway,
I was just remembering a moment.
I'll never forget it. He's watching me eat the chicken.
He's watching me eat the chicken.
I gotta change this scene. Oh my
that
God.
was so funny.
Yeah, I don't mean to move to a different opera company, but it was still Shreveport, where we did a lot of shows together too. And
I know, and a great time. And then I loved being at Brevard. I had never really been involved in anything like that. Pedagogically, it's not really my, you know.
No, you were great at it.
I love those 4 years. I mean, that's where I met Cody there.
Right.
You know, it's Mary Evelyn, who was
Mary Evelyn.
Just, I mean, pardon my French. I don't know what you can say, but she was just going to sing the piss out of that Leonora.
I know. I'm so pleased to watch her progression. And, yeah.
In fact, I just bought a ticket to this virtual Götterdämmerung that is going to put out this weekend because she's singing in it. And they did it while she was there.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Jerry, going back to that, but, you know, what's fascinating to me is that even to look at that group of Merry Widow people.
Yeah.
I mean, who were the people?
Yeah.
I mean, the people were, I mean, it was Haas and it was Nick DeMeo and it was, it was Miles and it was,
I know,
Andre's in that. And, and of course, you know, Corey and Matt and all that, but I just love, well, there's also a commitment on your end too, to cultivate what we do. And that's probably one of the biggest gifts of what we do as educators or whatever we do, is to take somebody, work with them, and then help them get an opportunity. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the beautiful part of this industry, and that's where I love being in now. Is if I can help anybody get something, I say that now during recommendation letter season, but
I know.
but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah,
So
but it is important, and it becomes a catch-22, which is I can't get any experience, and I can't get management or representation.
right.
I can't get a job until I have a job, and how do I get a job? And I mean, the one thing of any of those training programs, and actually, any program, I think for a singer, if you're going to be doing a master's or a diploma or any summer training, it's the connections. Who are you working with that are in the business to help you
Right.
get out into the business?
Right.
Because that's what you need, is someone to get you in the room. Then you can prove you belong in the room, and then you stay in the room.
But honestly, I can look at my own self. Not that it's all about me, Jerry, but
It is all about.
But again, you were that for me when I first started directing. I mean, you came into my life very early on and were nothing but a magical and positive vessel for me to learn, and we had a couple moments. And I remember one of the moments where you sat me down and went, "Don't ever do that again.
Right.
This is how you handle it." And I went, exactly. Thank you. So those moments.
I remember that.
Well, you didn't remember the biggest one, which was when I auditioned for you in New York back.
Oh, I very much remember that.
And I auditioned for you, and you were working for a Connecticut-based opera company. And I took the job to sing
Arturo
and Lucia. And I think maybe 2 days before the first rehearsal, I had gotten an offer from Michigan Opera Theater, Dayton Opera, and Opera Pacific to do this Dame Dot production of Candide. And I went,
well, yeah.
yeah, sorry, bro. And I called, and I swear to you, and it was, I said, I was nervous as crap. I said, well, I said what I said. I have this opportunity to that. And you went, okay, really? That's what you're going to do? Fine. Click. And I didn't speak to you from that moment, which I think was probably 1990.
Oh, easily, yes.
1990, until I walked in the room at Shreveport in 2000 whatever.
Well, 2004.
That's only a couple weeks.
Actually,
oh my God.
we had a phone conversation because Steve said, "I want you to come here and do it," but Dean's directing it, and Dean says you hate him.
Oh, that's right.
I said, put him on the phone, and I said, listen, you have to believe that people can change, and I'm sorry I was such an a-hole, but I was, and I've changed, and I'm a better
seriously,
person
I
now.
thought you hated me for freaking 14 years, Jerry.
I probably did for a good few.
And now you're the most important person in my life, pretty much. Oh my God, that's so. But things change, Joe.
Yeah,
I said, Joe.
Forgive me, and I was not a nice person then.
Oh, oh my God.
I wasn't. Yeah, it was awful.
I knew this conversation would go in 50 different directions, Jerry. I knew it would. Oh.
Well, I want to look at one clip. We have two more clips I wanted to show you. One of them is from Dead Man, which is a show that we both love, and that you, have appeared in very interestingly.
Yeah, which was an honor to be able to sing in it.
Yeah,
in the first incantation of it back.
Yeah, in the first, and to have sung in it in that initial production that went around the country. It was an amazing thing, that consortium.
It was.
So let's look at this and talk about this after this.
Ugh.
So how many layers are going on there? How do you layer that scene?
My brain just races it races all the time anyway because I drink too much coffee. But watching the paint, the colors, the relationships are so strong and so clear, and it's almost hard to even take it all in. I mean, it really is. And then I'm watching the picture develop, and I'm happy that the flash went off in the damn Polaroid. You know what I mean? That's what my head goes to.
Yeah.
But then listening to how brilliant the score it is, and the fact that he composed the development of a Polaroid.
Yeah.
It's in the music, and feeling everybody's thing, and feeling that whole thing, and seeing how broken, Sister Helen is, and how Mike is stepping behind because he doesn't want that last picture to have those chains in it, and oh my gosh, and then Mom, who's just completely doesn't know what to do. Yeah. She's lost. I mean, and the colors all just come out so clearly and gently. It's also gentle.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, and then it's weird to see Joseph O'Shea.
I know.
Who I just judged in the Mets last weekend, and he won an encouragement award. Who's one of the kids, and he didn't.
I know.
It's just all this.
And now, do you remember? Were you there for the second performance, or did you have to go away?
Actually, what was horrible for me is that I had another gig, and I didn't even make opening night. Do you remember that? That was really hard for me.
Okay.
So I missed it, and Sister Helen came.
She came.
I knew her from before. We've seen Shreveport, and also the premiere, or not the premiere, but
yeah. But I think what happened was, I think the kid who was singing the second brother called in sick.
He did.
And so Joe jumped into it.
The last second.
And did it that day, because the kid called, or the kid's mother, the young man's mother called, I think Sunday morning, to say he was sick. And I'm like, don't bring him in then if he's throwing up or whatever. But then, and I think it was Tommy Rowell.
Right, because he was doing
he was doing Father
Brenda. Yeah. But that piece, and
but the layers that starts with just the thing of her looking for the camera in the bag, and just like throwing it to the sister, and then grabbing him, and him with that look of shame, and asking her to look at the shackles, and the brothers just
I mean, for anybody to be able to be involved in that piece, if you just, and you were very, very helpful with me too. And when we directed, and we did it in Shreveport first, but really trusting compositionally what was there, and I love that whole aspect anyway. I love the aspect of connecting the musical tissue to what's happening dramatically and physically. It's just
that's a great piece for that. I think it's one of the why it does so well is it is a great meeting of music and libretto and story.
Yeah, it's just incredible. And as you've said before, yes, a great deal of it does take care of itself. You've said that it takes care of itself, but the really hard part about that show is honestly just to get everybody through it emotionally. Yeah, to find the right balance. Yep.
Now I know that it was years in your life chronologically between when you sang it and then when you directed it. Probably 10 years maybe at the most.
I think more than that. I think it was 12. I think it was 12 years because I think it was 2002. I don't know when we did it. I don't remember.
About 10 years. Was it easier to sing than to direct, or easier to direct than sing?
That was a whole nother topic, though. I mean, because where I was in my own life when I did Dead Man, singing it, was not as a great place as I would have liked to have been. So, so I was actually able to separate myself from much of the piece.
Well, you were younger.
I was younger. Right. But it's mentally and emotionally where I was in my life at that time.
Right.
was not probably where I would have liked to have been. So that when I came back to direct it, I really was, starting from a really ground zero place, which was better as a director, and doing the preparation that way.
Right.
So.
I have another clip because our time presses on.
Okay.
What I want to show, and I think the last production you did for us here was Man of La Mancha.
Oh my God!
We're going to see a little clip from Man of La Mancha.
Oh boy.
Since I've been with him, cuckoo nuts have been in season. But there's nothing I can do. Chop me up for onion stew. Still I yell to the sky, though I can't tell you why, that I like him.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's because you're not a squire.
All right, I'm not a squire. How does a squire squire?
Well, I'm right behind him. He fights. Then I pick him up off the ground.
But what do you get out of it?
Well, what do I get? Already I've gotten
You've got nothing! Why do you do it?
I like him. I really like him. Pluck me naked as a scalded chicken. I like him. Don't ask me for why or wherefore, 'cause I don't have a single good because or therefore. You can barbecue my nose, make a giblet of my toes, make me freeze, make me fry, make me sigh, make me cry. Still I yell to the sky, though I can't tell you why, that I like him. Listen.
Oh my God. Oh, that video is so old. It didn't even sync up.
That's really great.
Oh my God. I have such a relationship with that guy, Sancho.
I know.
It
And that was Audrey Babcock.
That was Audrey.
Right.
It's a delight to do with her. It really was. But oh my God, Sancho is just such a special part of my life. It always will be.
I love having that recording.
Oh my gosh, that warmed my heart. Gallo Chuck.
I'll tell you, the whole thing, the whole getting ready at the very beginning, all of that. I mean, oh my God, that's all so good.
The whole dialogue scene. I love that. I love that scene because it's the relationship that we get to meet Aldonza and Sancho together without Quixote there. And to me, it's a crucial part of the journey, so that at the end, how we get to the end and how that relationship. So it's because if it's not there, if that's not there at the end, something's missing. So I cherish that scene, and I did it a lot as a performer too. And weirdly enough, I did Sancho and directed it multiple times, but we're done. We shan't be doing that anymore. So,
and it's the knees. I'll tell you.
It's all of it. Yeah.
Oh my God, all the knees. Now you said you have pictures. You brought pictures.
No, I gave him the Cody. Oh, look at that. That's you feeding the damn geese in Brevard.
I love those geese.
You did, and we didn't, but I cherish that you did.
They're so sweet.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
Ruth.
That's Ruth and Rick.
Yep. It's nice.
Of course.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Uh-oh. What's that? Oh Lord.
Oh, that's the Bohème Gang.
Yes.
That's the Bohem Gang.
Yeah.
Oh, I've
It's-
never
yeah.
seen that shot. Yeah.
Tim,
There's Timmy
and
Jones.
there's
Mike
Matt
Hayes.
and Tim Jones. And
Oh, that's the time that Mikey and I rented that
that trailer.
trailer park.
And
It's
you both had your dogs.
freaking love that story.
Yeah.
Mike says, "Oh yeah, bro, I'll take care of it. We'll find a place to live." And he got a double wide. Oh, that's Brevard, the first summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cody's in there, and there's Jerry, and yeah, and there's Eileen, which is her birthday today.
It's birthday today.
Eileen birthday today, and I don't know if Cody's going to show that.
Uh-oh. We have more.
Oh, that's the Rigoletto, right? Yeah. No, that's Traviata.
No, that's Traviata.
That's Traviata. Oh, yeah, and that was my first Traviata.
That's right.
Yeah, and a nice tight short rehearsal schedule.
Well,
That picture. I've always liked that picture.
oh yeah, the Traviata.
No, yeah, but it was actually I stood up in the middle of it to yell at somebody or something, and I got this really cool silhouette shot.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. Well.
Uh-oh.
Up. Look at that. I might need some of these because I really don't have that many pictures with us, Jerry.
What is that? Is that you and I? Where is that?
Kyle there. That's in the
Oh wow, yes.
are we not in the rehearsal space?
No, I think we're over at the theater. We're backstage at the theater.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Backstage at the theater, the three of us.
Well,
Yeah.
oh, look at that. I could use that copy.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. You're in your light, Maestro. Look at
All
that.
right. There you, and you're leaning over.
Uh,
Too loud. I'm
nice
sorry.
face I'm making. What is that?
Oh, this looks like I bet it's Traviata because the guys are all in tails.
Yes.
Traviata or Widow.
I think it's Widow. Yeah, because Andre wasn't in the Traviata.
Oh, okay.
So crazy.
I know. Many shows.
I think we've gone through the photo
Many more.
gallery.
I know.
Yeah, honestly, I could probably sit here and shoot the crap with you for about 2 hours.
Well, at least. But we will see you soon.
Oh, I'm so excited about doing Pinafore. I mean,
Pinafore?
I actually love GNS, and I love that show.
So we will have you among us again.
Look forward to that.
Stop feeling. We'll get through Carmen and
Yep.
have a fun time with.
Yep. It will be. And I just want to say before we get off this thing is that I do want to thank you again personally for your kindness and for your openness to embrace me into your life and be such a huge influence on my first days at Brevard, but also my early directing days, and the support and care and kindness you've shown me over the years has been immense.
Well,
it's been immense.
It's very kind of you to say, and it's all been given with great love. And I had to make up for what a terrible person I was.
1990. I'll never forget that.
I'm still making up. Yeah. And I was. I'm sorry. I try to be a better person. But
look, I mean, same here. I mean, I've gone through some massive changes in my life, and now it's not about me or my ego or myself. It's about everybody else and what I can do in the world to make a difference.
Yeah, and the art. And
Yeah.
the art of the art. And the art of making art.
Yeah, and it's honestly been a unique time, and I've actually been busier now than I ever have been, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a different kind of busy, and I have a little Zoom ass, as I call it, but we get past it, and yeah, I love where we're heading in this industry, and I'm in it until I drop,
Right. Well, I think we all are. I mean, we enjoy it too much. But I'll tell you, I just want to thank you for making time for us.
Oh my
and
God!
Also, want to thank you for being with us here in Pensacola for so many productions, but also you and I with so many. I mean, it's a great relationship. It's a great legacy.
It is. It
It doesn't happen often in the business. So it's
I'm lucky to have that with you, and it will be cherished, and it will not be forgotten either. That's
cherish it. But And so our time is gone. We must say goodnight. So, Dean Anthony, love you.
Oh, thank you. I love you too, Jerry. I love Pensacola Opera. I miss the chorus, and just hang in there. And Brittany and Glenn, I'll see you guys soon. And hey, it was fun to see people stop by, and see you soon. Yeah.
Happy holidays.